Rev up your engines!
If you notice, gas prices are coming down some, but it's only about 6%. I noticed that it's starting to come down even here in Rhode Island. And you might wonder why. Well, there's all kinds of reasons, but basically it's the price of crude oil is starting to go down. But here's the funny thing. Global oil prices are down 35%. They keep saying, we can't help with the price of gasoline because our main cost is oil and the price of oil is up. Well, the price of oil is down 35%. And what's the gas price down? 6%. All they do is rip us off. When the price comes down, they don't mention anything about, well, we have other costs too, so we can only lower it 6%. You know, even though the price of crude oil is down 35%. When the market really goes down and the price of oil goes down, they got to lower it some. What really lowers it, though, is lack of demand, because it is a capitalist system, right? So they're all worried now with possible coming recession. Then people do stop buying as much gas and the price goes down. That's the main thing, is that market force of if people don't buy the stuff, they got to lower the price if they want to sell as much of it, because people are just going to, I don't have the money. There's many things you don't have to do in life, you know? I mean, if you really get down to the basic simple things, you need to eat, sleep. That's about it. So as long as you're doing those things, all the accessories, you don't need to buy a bunch of crap from Amazon or wherever. You don't need all that much. And if people went down to basic necessities, guess what? The price of all the crap would start coming down if nobody was buying it. But I always love the spin that media gives. Here's the media spin on it. Falling fuel prices have spelled relief for millions of households and businesses worldwide who struggle to pay soaring energy bills. Whoop-de-doo, so they lowered 6%, you know? That isn't squat. The media always tries to paint a picture to make it look like it's bigger than it is. I mean, come on. If prices of their oil goes down 35% and they're only lowering at 6% is a spit in the bucket. Yeah, that's really going to help everyone out, right? Nickel here, a nickel there. No, it doesn't work that way, right? It just amazes me how the media is kind of tied in with all these corporations. Well, then again, think about it. The media pays advertising to these corporations, so of course they're going to be on their side, right? That's how it pays them. Ultimately, they run ads. All the medias run ads, and these corporations are paying ads, so they can't make them look too bad, right? Or they won't get their ad money anymore. So the prices are coming down some, but unfortunately, the only thing that's really going to make them come down is an actual recession. When people don't buy it because they don't have the money, then they do have to lower the price.
Pit in the car says, Scotty, what do you think of Toyota's plug-in hybrid system? Considering buying a new RAV4? Well, if you want to get a plug-in, buy that. It's a big seller. They work quite well. Just realize you can only drive so far. So what you want to do is see how far you drive. I know a guy around here in Rhode Island, he's got one. He has yet to buy gasoline. He doesn't take it on trips. He goes back and forth to work. And he's got enough to go back and forth to work, charge it at home, go back and forth to work, charge it at home. Or say you got a job where there's a charger there. You can make it there, charge it. You're there 8 hours, you come back, go right ahead. They're well made, you know. They're selling the heck out of those things. To me, it's kind of an interesting thing. Why not? If you want to try electricity, get that. So when it runs on electricity, you got a gas engine, you can drive all over the place. So you could take that thing on all the trips you wanted. When it runs out of electricity, it just goes back to the gasoline engine. Now, I'm not a new car fanatic because they cost too much money. I always buy them used. But if you can afford that and you want to get a plug-in, definitely it's probably one of the better plug-ins to get. Genghis Khan, former Khagan of the Mughal Empire, says Turkey makes tons of Toyota products and vehicles, if you didn't know. Yeah, they also make a lot of Ford. Those Ford Transit vans, tons of them are made in Turkey. They seem to be pretty good at making vehicles. They're making all kinds of vehicles there. I didn't know that until a few years back when I'm working on this guy's transit van and it needed a big seal because it was leaking in the back when you open the back doors when it rained. It rains a lot in Houston. Something a lot of people will know, it rains more inches of rain per year in Houston than it does in Seattle. Seattle gets a drizzle all the time, but when Houston, it rains, it pours. So there's actually more rain there. Yeah, I needed to get this new seal. It cost a fortune. I said, why is it so expensive? The guy at the Ford dealer says, well, we got to order them from Turkey. That's where they're made. That's where they made the vehicle. So they do make an awful lot of stuff in Turkey. I was surprised when I found out. Timothy McKenzie says, Scotty, how do you feel about an 04 Pontiac Grand Prix with 120,000 miles? Personally, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Those had one of the worst automatic transmissions in the world. Americans really never, ever figured out how to build front-wheel drive vehicles. Regular ones, bleh. That's one of the reasons Pontiac went out of business. They started making them so crappy. They had good engines. The 6-cylinder engines, the V6 engines, they were good engines. I'll give them that. There's nothing wrong with the engines, but the tranny were crap and the rest of the car was crap. They aren't very good cars. And if you're thinking about buying one with 120, don't pay much for it. It has no intrinsic value. It will never be a collector's item. And if it hasn't already, soon the automatic transmission, I can guarantee you, will go up. F. Berneckerman says, Scotty, I want to get my first car. I don't know what to get. I'm looking at a Ford Explorer Sport Track V8 2008 or an Acura MDX 2009. You got completely different vehicles. What do you want? Now, the Ford V8, the Explorers with the V8s were the best ones they ever made. But this is a pretty big but. They get horrible gas mileage. A 2009 Acura MDX, they're going to get better gas mileage. It's a much higher tech car. Acura parts cost a lot of money. It would depend a lot on the mileage. I would not buy an MDX that had more than 100-something thousand miles, because when the trannies go out of those, you're going to spend $8,000 and more fixing the stupid thing. With the Fords, are cheaper to fix. A lot would depend on the mileage that each one had and what you want to get. It would be much cheaper fixing a Ford Explorer, but it's going to get a lot worse gas mileage. So how many miles you plan on driving, you got to put all that in when you look at it. And they're relatively different types of vehicles, completely different histories. You know, one's a luxury car, one's a Ford. What do you want? Road test them, see what you like, how you like to ride it, because the Explorer rides like crap compared to how the Acura does. There's so many differences, make your head spin. White Tree says, Scotty, what do you think about a 2003 Volkswagen Passat 4-liter W8 all-wheel drive manual 6-speed? It's a marvel of technology. How they made that W engine and their all-wheel drive system and their very good 6-speed standard transmissions. Marvelous technology. When they run like scalded apes, right? But when they break, they cost a fortune to repair. That W8 design is just, oh man, it's so complex inside and the parts are so expensive on those things. If you're thinking about buying one, it's 20 years old. Something's going to break. Don't pay much. If you want to get one, a fun toy for screwing around with and driving on a weekend. If you think you're going to have it as an everyday driver, think again, it'll bankrupt you. So as a toy, maybe you get it cheap, have some fun. But don't buy it as an everyday driver. That'd be a big mistake. Brian Roscoe said, Scotty, I purchased an 05 1500 Suburban Z71 4x4 with high mileage, 350,000 miles. There's an oil leak, but it drives well. Transmission was rebuilt a year ago. Paid $2,300. Is it a good buy? Okay, well, price a new one. $2,300, you get a set of tires and stuff for it, not the whole vehicle, right? If it lasts you, it was a great buy, you know? They're gas hogs, you already know that going in. Anybody buying a Suburban knows they're a gas hog, right? $2,300, if it lasts you even a couple of years, you're making out like a gangbuster these days, especially since the transmission was rebuilt. It's got oil leak, fix the oil leak. It'll probably burn some oil with the V8 engine with that kind of mileage. But what the heck? It's a V8 engine. You can get it rebuilt. You can get it rebuilt or reconditioned. You can even put a used engine in if the engine blew. They made so many of those V8 engines, you can replace them. If you know somebody or if you do a little work yourself, yeah, it was a really good deal. You keep fixing it. They're made so you can keep fixing them. And they were so much better built in 2005 than they are today. Make your head spin. I would never buy a new one.
Well, now GM is trying to get a regulatory okay to test a shuttle that has no steering wheel. They want to do it in California, of course, specifically on the public roads of San Francisco. Legalized that they can test this machine with no steering wheel at all, driving itself around the public roads of San Francisco. Generally, if you're talking about the public roads of San Francisco, if they mean downtown, it's so congested there anyways, they're going to be going pretty slow. It's really not a bad place to test it. On the other hand, certain safety precautions. I mean, if they're going to test one of these things, I think they should be forced to have a steering wheel somewhere where there's a guy that if something goes wrong, he's able to grab it while they're testing it and not smash into somebody. I mean, you can't trust these things. Obviously, self-driving is not anywhere near where it should be. And of course, as I said thousands of times, you can't have human beings and machines driving on the same road. If it's all machines and they talk to each other with the 5G network or whatever higher network they come up with, where even if it only got a quarter-mile range when you're driving, quarter mile's plenty enough information of what's around you, right? And other machines all listen to each other. Of course, eventually, even the machines are going to screw up. There'll be a short and something's going to hit somebody. It's just the way it goes, right? But you can't have these machines and humans driving on the same road. Humans are too wild when they're driving. They're too indecisive. All kinds of wild things can happen. Oh, I forgot my shoes, and you make a U-turn and plow into one of these machines that's driving itself. It doesn't know what to do, right? Or the machines slam on their brakes because they think a shadow is a truck, and you're following them and you smash into them because you think, why'd this stupid machine stop? There's nothing in front of it but a shadow, right? So you really can't mix the two. They keep trying to do it, but really, you can't mix the two. If you want to have roads with just robots driving themselves, fine. fine. But you can't have the robots and people going on the same roads. It just won't work. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.